Yeah, so we're seeing a change in the marketplace, especially when it comes to viewership, and how television has become more fragmented and started to erode, both throughout the pandemic, but also over the last decade. And we as an agency are starting to make sure that we're able to map and match our strategies to be able to capitalize on the changing audience. So a great example of this is if you think back 10 years, everybody was watching Saturday Night Live in linear TV. 8 years ago, they were watching it on their set-top box DVR, time shifted the next day or the next morning, or even a little bit later at night. 4 years ago, people were going to Hulu and other streaming channels to watch full episodes of Saturday Night Live. And now what we're seeing is people are still going to watch Saturday Night Live content. They're just watching it in a way that fits their viewing habits. So that includes now going to YouTube the next day, watching 3 or 4 Saturday Night Live clips. Those are television viewers watching television content. And we as marketers need to be able to have strategies to be able to reach those viewers, however they're consuming television content.
Mike, I wanted to talk about YouTube, CTV, what's going on, and it's quite interesting how in our conversation we don't really talk about YouTube that much. How does YouTube fit into the CTV conversation?
Yeah, within the last couple of years, we found YouTube really becoming one of the largest sources of ad-supported streaming happening on the TV screen. You're right about historically, a lot of marketers didn't look towards YouTube as that true TV replacement. But if you think about that Saturday Night Live example, plus the fact that a lot of people are at home during the pandemic, and that younger viewership who grew up on YouTube is starting to age out of living at home and going out on their own, we're really starting to see a rise in YouTube as a viable alternative to other streaming happening on that TV screen, which has really led to a rise of the need to find a combination of premium television content coupled with premium television audiences inside of that YouTube environment, and really make a case to our clients on why they need to consider that television.
So, Mike, tell us about buying on YouTube and perhaps more broadly on CTV. What about buying audiences versus sort of contextual decision making?
So our goal right now is to always take an audience first approach, but audiences can also be contextual audiences, either truly one-to-one, being able to identify the types of shows that me as a viewer inside of a certain audience and types of content that me as a viewer inside of a certain audience may or may not be watching, but then also to make sure that we're always going to be pairing ads with contextually relevant content. We want to make sure that ad messaging doesn't collide. If you have humorous ad messaging, we want to certainly make sure that it's not paired with anything that's not brand safe or not on target. You don't want to come out of something very serious with a very funny message. It impacts both the content and the ad message in those cases. So we're really starting to think more about how we can use contextual signals, how we can couple audience plus context to really tell a better story.
And Mike, the measurement story, we could go on for days about that, but what's going on in measurement that you're pleased about, and what would you like to sort of see evolve?
I think that a lot of the media sellers that we're working with understand what we're asking for when it comes to measurement. Obviously, with cookie deprecation and other privacy concerns, we as an industry do need to coalesce together on some sort of unique identifier, both from a household perspective and a ratings perspective, when it comes to how to measure success across advanced TV, inclusive of data-driven linear, set-top box addressable, and streaming and premium digital video. But we've seen a lot of progress in the ecosystem towards a more open ecosystem. We're not necessarily at the point where there's going to ever be a truly open one source of identifier or measurement. But what we're seeing is publishers are understanding the needs of the buy side more and are working with us to create new solutions.
Mike, finally, tell us what's going on with Essence and sort of your work and what's exciting there.
Yeah, I think we've made a lot of progress, getting our clients to really understand the changing landscape and why, as television dollars are continuing to flow onto the big screen, we need to take an approach that's a little bit more holistic and a little bit more forward thinking, when it comes to how to identify an audience, how to buy that audience, and how to measure what those ads did to drive success against that audience. Taking a more screen, but more importantly, distribution point agnostic approach to the media buy, understanding that if you're only buying linear, you're missing 30% of your potential audience. If you're only buying streaming, you're missing 60% of your potential audience. And really getting our clients to think about their approach to television as being more audience first, data informed, and then letting the data tell the story about how the best way to reach the viewer is at that moment on that screen based on what you're looking to accomplish.